Hey there, assholes. Hey, I'm the lead better asshole here. Uh, this is Sean Empire, and welcome to Better Assholes. Today, you know what? We're chill. It's a few days before Christmas, and we're just talking real briefly about really capitalism and Christmas and how they've pretty much hijacked this holiday. It's it's pretty crazy. I'm a I'm a capitalist minded guy myself, so I'm not going to sit here and you know pull this socialist commie shit. But I'm telling you, it's getting pretty crazy because you know what? Back in July, I remember seeing like Boxing Week and July sales. And then in August, Black Friday and August sales. And then we had, some sort of, I think, a Technology Tuesday at some point. We just had Black Friday, a Cyber Monday. Uh, we're having Boxing Week sales already, and Christmas hasn't even started. So it's been really crazy to continue to see Christmas go this way. And it's I I've I've been kind of out of the season for so many years now, despite having such a nice tree. And believe it or not, right now we're looking out to snow and snow covered trees and you know dead roads. Everything's silent. It's beautiful. But the biggest problem is it just doesn't feel like Christmas. When you turn on your TV, we all have smart TVs now, and we're stupid. We are stupid because we fell for the bullshit. So, my family wants to watch a Christmas special. We turn on the TV, and no matter if we pay for Disney Plus, Netflix, Prime, Pluto, blah, 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 we will always notice that whatever season it is, that is a time where you have to start paying for those seasonal movies that were normally free. So let me tell you how much of an asshole idea it is for you to say, hey, people, you're paying $20 a month to watch any movie you want to see on our platform, except when it's Christmas, you're going to have to pay extra to watch those Christmas movies with your family. That's kind of an asshole move, and that's what you see now. This is what they're doing. So now, and it's even maybe they have part one for free, but part two you have to pay for, right? So it kind of kills that mood. You know what? I was on one of those fireplaces, right? We had the digital fireplace channel thing, and we had company over. We had the fireplace going on TV just because we had people over. Everybody's chatting and eating, and bam, it burst into an ad, into like an ad for some action movie or whatever. So everybody's having a great moment, and then it's gunshots and commotion and pandemonium over it's this ad, right? And then back to the fireplace, right? uh my family's gone to the mall. I don't go to the mall. They go to the mall every so often and whatever. They had to go take back some stuff. And the funny part is we spend a lot of time at the mall and go shopping at the mall. And you know what? I think there was a time where Christmas shopping at the mall was a fantastic event, but no longer, right? Because right now, being at the mall is practically, it makes no sense, right? We get up to the mall, we get into town and we say, okay, let's go by the mall just every so often, just to kind of do something, right? Just kind of get out the car. And it sucks, right? Because it's the same stores, so it's the same overpriced stores that you're not going to shop at, that you don't need anything from. Anchor stores, uh, stores run by, new immigrants that needed to run a business, I guess, because I don't know how they're probably, they have to be some sort of scam. I can't understand how you'd have a t-shirt shop, like a 5,000 square foot t-shirt shop with wacky ass stuff from the 80s that you've never seen anybody wear or buy. So that seems like, I don't know, maybe money laundering. Anyway, so but I mean, what are you doing at the mall? You go to the mall. The mall's not really decorated. They just put like a Christmas thing in the middle, like the Santa Claus thing in the middle for pictures. It's been there since the 80s. So it's really antique. Um, and that's it. So the mall's not really Christmassy. The economy is so bad that there's no real specials at the mall. Most of the stores at the mall, so if it's an electronics store, they don't have anything in stock because what they do is you go to the store, they have a demo model. You go, "Oh, I really like this." And they go, "Oh, yeah, okay. So what we'll do is you buy it here and we'll ship it to you." And that's it. Right. And so you have a few of those kind of places, right? But I mean, you don't need anything from half of these stores. They don't have any value, they don't have anything to offer. So it's not worth being at the mall. There used to be a lot of like events that you could go to, or, you know, like today would be say a Christmas market, tomorrow would be some sort of Christmas market, and it would be open all day and night, and they'd have different vendors and inside and outside and hay rides and this and that. But not, there's nothing happens like that anymore because at some point it went from being something where it was free, then it went to being $5 to $10 to now you need to spend $50 to get a hayride from, you know, around a little track or something like that, and an apple cider or whatever. So it's, when stuff happens like that, you lose that momentum to really take your kid to that, right? There was somewhere where we were going to go, and it was, and I can't even remember, but it's one of these holiday things. And my wife mentioned it to me. She said, "Oh yeah, we should go here. They have a event going on." And so we look at it, and you know, the cost for 4 people, and a lot of what they do now is they make sure when they talk about kids and kids prices and kids meals and whatever, they're cutting off stuff early now. Before, you used to go to a restaurant and get a kids meal, or kids eat free at a certain age, right? Until they're 6, until they're 10 or whatever. Now it's like they eat free until they're 2 years old. They don't even want the kids. They said, "I'll give you free breast milk. Your kid eats free until they're 6 months old." Right? Like that's how it goes now. So they don't really want to help you out at restaurants. They don't want to help you out anywhere, right? They're charging you. So, anyways, we're going to put somewhere, and it's $50 a person, but they count all the kids with $50, too. So you're like $200 into something, and you look at it and you say, well, it's not really worth it, right? Like you can't really get any value. Um, some things it's nice to take your wife, to go and do something, but sometimes, to take all your kids, it sucks. Um, I mean, it's like vacations. I mean, you used to be able to take your kid. You used to go to a vacation on vacation. And if you had a kid under 12, you used to be able to take your kid under 12, and you'd get discounts, you'd get kids prices, you get kids price on airlines, but now that doesn't exist. You're paying full price, right? So it's crazy. Um, it's all the money, right? You never hear about Jesus. You never hear about nativity scenes. Christmas used to be so many nativity scenes. It used to blow my mind. It used to be freaking donkeys and wise men and Jesus and so many nativity stuff, right? But now, no more nativity scenes, no more Jesus. Any of that stuff is not even mentioned. They used to have, the star, the North Star or Star David or whatever. I don't know whatever the holiday star is. I just can't believe I said Star David. Fuck. Um, but yeah, they used to have that holiday star. Um, and they don't show that anymore. You never hear about Jesus or the wise men or any of that stuff. So you have to go hardcore Christian to really hear any of that stuff, or the Christmas carols. Like, I mean, you turn on the Christmas carols, it's fucking Mariah Carey and pop stars singing made up stuff like all day long, but you don't get any of those traditional songs. Now, stuff like Little Drummer Boy and whatever, don't get me wrong, all that stuff, it just drives me nuts. I don't want to hear Little Drummer Boy and some of this crazy centuries old Christmas songs about Jesus. But I mean, when you really talk about the holiday, you talk about why Christmas is Christmas, it's hard to cut out the fact that there's a religious element. And I think that's what really has taken away from Christmas is the lack of the religious element because now it's about buying. It's about, really spending money. It's about corporations just reaping in those funds and providing that bottom line to shareholders, right? I look at my tree, I look at my everything under my tree and like I think every single present I bought it off Amazon. Every single present I bought was something that somebody pretty much gave me a link for on Amazon and said, "Hi, I like this. This is my what I want for Christmas," and gave me a link to Amazon. And then I just press buy, and then it comes the next day, and then it gets wrapped up and put underneath the tree. And when you look about it at it, right, a lot of everything that you bought are stuff that's, I mean, most of it's electronics is high end stuff. So nobody anymore says, "Well, I want a book or I want a board game, I want a game, I want a toy, I want." Now it's just I want electronics. And all the electronics are they only last a certain amount of time. So, you buy headphones for $100, all the leather pieces they 2 years later it just peels off. You buy, controllers, they start drifting. You buy, VR, next year's new VR. You buy a computer, next year's computer's faster. Like, I mean, it's just like everything's so everybody's just spending money on consumer gadgets that are tied into subscriptions, right? Like, I mean, the kids want phones. Okay, cool. So you buy a phone, you need a phone provider. A lot of people, they want to buy their kids fancy phones that they can't afford. So therefore they get certain plans, right? And so they're committed for 2 or 3 years to that plan. Um, and then you have to pay warranty or insurance on the phone sometimes. As I said, your subscriptions. You want to listen to music? Oh, Spotify subscription. You need to watch YouTube now. Oh, YouTube subscription. You want to play a game? Oh, you need your PlayStation 5 subscription. So everything's a subscription. You basically bought your kid or whoever a vehicle for subscriptions, a subscription platform that can't be used without spending more money, right? Like I'm fucking, it drives me nuts when I find out my kid spent probably $1,000 or more on Fortnite, which is a free game that sucks. It blows my mind. And then you look around and you go, well, even when with the PlayStation 5, I said, well, you know what? For the price of a PlayStation 5 and all this bullshit, you could have bought a gaming computer, right? You have a nice brand new big monitor. You just buy a brand new gaming computer and it would have cost you less than the PlayStation 5, and especially in the long run, I mean, a lot less, right? Because we're paying another $200 a year for PlayStation Plus subscription. Controllers are $100 each. Games are like, all the top games are 80 to $100 each. So, I mean, it makes no sense, right? Everything's, it's just taking money out of your pocket. So, this is how we've managed to do things nowadays, right? Is we're continuing to just find ways to just drain people's money, right? And I mean, yeah, it's fun. Playing games is fun. Driving is fun, doing things is fun, whatever. But I mean, you lose that spirit, right? You lose that spirit if you don't buy your kid. I'm telling you, if you don't buy your kid a PlayStation 5 because they want a PlayStation 5, I mean, your kid's going to go to school and they're going to feel like shit, and their friends that did get PlayStation 5s are going to, make fun of them or whatever, right? Um, so eh, that's it. We used to, it used to be fun. At least we used to go back to school after Christmas, and it wasn't about really how much money somebody was willing to part with, right? I mean, it was about your parents would go out, you wanted a jacket. You were like, "Oh man, mom, I want to go skiing this year. I want a new winter jacket. I want some new boots, I want some new snow pants. I want a Walkman." You know, you'd buy a Walkman, you'd get a Walkman for, I mean, except for the yellow Sportsman or whatever, you got Walkman for your Christmas, and you say, "Oh shit, I got Walkman." You go to school, you have your Walkman. I mean, your friends wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're a fucking loser. You didn't get the Apple Walkman that's $2,500, and they laugh at you. I mean, it was pretty much like, "Oh, cool, you got a cool. Oh, cool, your jacket looks cool." I mean, it wasn't. People weren't going nuts about brand names. I mean, everything was pretty much at the time. I mean, that's okay. Growing up in North America at the time, nothing was Chinese or Indonesian or Pakistani or Taiwanese or whatever. I mean, things were made in Canada or things were made in the US, or if we had imported things that were made in England or, you know, somewhere in Europe, right? Like Western Europe. So it was a bit different because at least if you wanted a jacket, you said, "Oh, mom, I need a new winter jacket for Christmas." It was either made by a big American company or a big Canadian company. It was very rare that, I mean, there were lower scale things, cheaper cost of things, cheaper prices, but those brands were cheaper brands, but they were still Canadian, right? So, I mean, it wasn't hard to go and get a nice looking jacket from a reputable company that will last for a long time. I mean, you'd get a jacket when you were 13, and I mean, you'd wear that shit till you were like 16. It would last for a few years, or 14 or 15, or I mean, it would last you. The quality was good, whatever. Now you don't get that, right? And so it's everything's from China, everything's lower quality. Whatever. Kids don't want jackets. Sorry, I go off into reminiscing, but kids, they don't want jackets anymore. They don't want shoes. They don't want clothes. They won't want, not for the most part. I mean, if your kid wants clothes, they don't want you to go buy Bugle Boys. They want you to go and buy some shit that's super expensive, right? So when your kid wants 800, I mean, yeah, I know. I used to want Jordans back in the 90s and shit like that. I mean, yeah, I used to wear $100 shoes and $150 shoes and whatever back in the day. So, I mean, I think that's the equivalent to, in these dollars now, of like $400 or $500 shoes, right? So, I mean, yeah, shoes have always been a thing, but I mean, at this point, right, the shoes, if I go on Amazon or if I go to H&M or if I go to whatever, I go to a mall and I buy a pair of Chinese shoes, A-list or whatever, I go and buy some cheap shoes. They don't make $20 shoes anymore. They don't make $15 shoes anymore with Velcro, right? You want a cheap no name brand pair of shoes, they're like 50, $60 still, right? So we've moved up. Things have changed, right? So things have gone into a different zone. Kids want all the expensive stuff, right? Everybody wants expensive stuff. Your wife is going to ask you for expensive stuff. Your kids are going to ask for expensive stuff, right? Nobody's asking for anything cheap. Everybody wants the best, right? If you ask, you go to, a Rogers store, you go to a cell phone store and you go, okay, what's the most and if you ever speak to anybody at cell phone stores, cell phones are super interesting because they're one of the only items that cost as much as they do, where the majority of the people buying them have no money. And that's probably its own topic. So when I see somebody with an iPhone 16, to me, that screams, you don't have any money. You just leased a phone. That's really dumb. And then people say, well, that's not me. I'm not like that. I didn't. Yes, you are like that and you are dumb. Because why it's easy to come to that conclusion is that most people, 90% of people that are smart, usually will not spend money recklessly. And so depreciating assets like an iPhone 16, right? Like, I mean, yeah, we're not talking about they hold value, but they depreciate really. See, what happens is if you don't have the money, if I have a cell phone, if I have money and I go out and I buy a cell phone, I buy an iPhone 16 cash, unlocked at the Apple store for whatever, $2,000 or whatever it costs. I could use that phone, keep it in good condition, and the year after, I mean, yeah, maybe somewhere from $1,500 to $1,800 that phone will be worth. I will get my money, a good portion of my money's back, right? And say, okay, yeah, maybe it cost me in use and wear and tear, X amount per month. When we look at something like, a 2-year plan where you wanted an iPhone 16 and you had to pay like $300 down, $400 down on the phone, and then you're paying like $130 a month, and you're locked in for 2 years. And then even despite spending that $400 up front, at the end of your 2-year contract, you owe $500, you owe $500 to keep the phone. That's incredible. So that means that you actually paid over the cost of the phone because, I mean, right now, I mean, if you have your own phone, you can buy a plan for $30 a month with like 100 gigs. And it's like 130 if you have to pay for the cost of finance of the phone. So you just got ripped off to get this phone that when you go to sell it to upgrade, you're going to think it's a great idea when you get maybe somebody offers you $1,500 for the phone, but you paid already like $3,500 for it, right? You might as well just keep it. It's like a car at this point because you just overpaid for it just because you wanted the flash of somebody perhaps looking at you and going, whoa, look at that baller taking the bus. He has so much money that he's on the bus with an iPhone 16. Wow, he's a champ, right? And I mean, I said he to be fair, but I mean, most of the times it's women, right? That are the ones that kind of do this, right? Because somebody else is going to foot the bill, right? Or the money's coming from somewhere. And that's how. But, anyways, that's a whole other story. But you see how it is. So, I mean, everything is capitalism, everything is greed, everything is, everything. And I just explained, I mean, the iPhone is a whole other story. We just loop that in here. But Christmas, as I said, yeah, getting back to it. It's not very Christmassy. And half the time we're having green Christmases now. So between a green Christmas, the fact that, every Christmas song is some sort of Mariah Carey Christmas song or some other pop star that doesn't sing anything about real Christmas. It's more about some super material things. I mean, this is where we are now, right? Not Christmas, not religious, not anything. Throw up a tree, throw up some lights, give people gifts, right? Look at how crappy wrapping paper is crap now, right? Look how thin it is. Just crazy. Anyways, that's a whole other rant. We're talking a whole bunch of other stuff. So, anyways, assholes, we are going to wish you a Merry Christmas. Maybe we can get another one in. Maybe we can't. But until the meantime, we're going to say Merry Christmas and maybe just sign off here, right? And do it like that. So from me, Casa, to you, Casa, from my home to your home, looking out my window at the snow and at the chair that's about to come. Merry Christmas to you, dudes, if I don't hear from you. And if I don't get anything on the mic until after Christmas, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. But you guys have a wonderful day, and we will see what the new year will bring us. And that's only if we don't hear from you, because I'm going to try to make sure you hear from me after this. Anyways, take it easy. Sean Empire, have your better asshole time.